All right. I'll start off with injuries. Benny Cunningham had a right ankle sprain, so he'll be day to day. Aaron Lynch and Adam Shaheen are both progressing with as far as their concussions, and then with Mitchell, he'll be day to day, and hopefully he'll be progressing and just be one of those deals that you guys have been through with me, and just keep an eye on him and be day to day with him. So going back and watching the tape, I thought starting with the defense, I thought they. Just like we saw last night, they made plays when they needed to. I thought Detroit had a good game plan with some of the things they were doing offensively, but in the end, our guys made plays when they needed to. Made some big stops. One of the key stops was down inside the 5-yard line. It was second and 2 from the 3. Had a big stop there. Great play by Eddie Jackson and Akeem Hicks there, and then forced into a 3rd and 1, and then they had an incompletion. So that was a big part of the game, in my opinion, to get that stop right there and not allow them to score the touchdown. And then the following possession, Eddie did a great job of reacting to the quick game. Made a great catch and run afterwards, and obviously that was the turning point in the game. Offensively, I thought that what I felt in the game was really, what I ended up seeing on tape. We were efficient at times, but there were some times where the timing was off a little bit. But I thought that when we needed to make a couple 3rd down plays, our guys did a good job of executing that, and we did just enough to make it happen. Special teams wise, I thought our punt team did a good job with field position. Cody did a good job making his field goals and extra points, and so again, I go back to that was a tough 12 days for us, but they took on the challenge, they accepted it, and came out 3-0, which was great.
Any particular throw Chase made or decision Chase made that you really liked?
Yeah, the 2 touchdown throws they're not easy throws, and you saw Tariq on the first one, was looking over his right shoulder and then turned back inside and tracked the ball pretty well, and that was a good throw. And then the other one to Mazel was another good throw. He made a nice throw to Allen Robinson down the sideline on the right side. Trusted him, put the ball in a nice spot. Similar type throw that he missed early on the second play of the game to Anthony Miller. So there were some good throws that he made, but those are the ones that really stood out.
Said 3 of the 4 sacks that he put on himself. One was like an RPO that looked like it busted, or he just didn't throw it for whatever reason. Was there any common thread to just the sacks in terms of either the timing or his decision making there?
I would agree. I wouldn't put him on him, but I would say that they were coverage. They were coverage sacks. They were not sacks where someone got beat one-on-one, and it was just these were coverage sacks where that's where it all goes hand in hand in the timing and releases and getting off press and winning your one-on-one battles. As a wide receiver, tight end, running back, it's important to do that. And if you don't, then the quarterback, hence, he holds on to the ball and can get sacked. The last play, the 3rd and 8, we had Anthony Miller down the middle of the field wide open, and we had 6 for 6 on that. They went to a cover 0 hole where they have an extra float, linebacker, but it's cover 0 back end. We had enough to block. There was a miscommunication there protection-wise, which I'll get to. I'm not there with the players yet, but we had enough, and that's a big play right there if we hit that.
Yeah, how much harder is it to identify and shore up deficiencies when you're playing as well and on a roll that you are?
Yeah, no, it's not hard because I think it keeps everybody in check. It lets you know that, hey, and I'm talking more specifically on offense, there's some details that we can definitely get better at across the board, just schematically, and then also individually with the players. And that's where we as coaches got to make sure that we don't throw too much at them so that they have the ability to do well with the details. If you throw too much at them, then there's too much. It's
in the glow of this winning streak. Well,
yeah.
Can you point to one thing you really think you need to be better at in the next 5 games,
Yeah, well, stating the obvious is and I've been saying this all year, we got to figure out how to get better at the run game. But I'll say this, going into yesterday against that defense and what they do, we knew it wasn't going to be easy. So sometimes that's how it goes, and that's okay. That's how we felt as a coaching staff and where we were going to be at, and that's a credit to Detroit. They got a good rush defense, and so but now we have this little bit of a break, so it's a nice little time for myself and the staff to reflect. Okay, how do we give ourselves the best opportunities to run the ball better?
I was going to say, what did you like about going empty against them, and then what does this say about Chase that you?
Yeah, well,
on him early?
yeah, the negative to be going in empty is it's gap protection, so you only have 5 guys blocking. So if you feel comfortable with your O-line versus the D-line, then you go ahead and go empty. The other thing is it cleans things up for the quarterback too. He's able to see it spreads the defense out. And you don't live in it, but we do like empty, and some quarterbacks like it more than others. But it's a comfortable feeling at times. You just got to make sure you're holding up. Just who he is and how he treats the game. Every day it's the same thing. The timing was going to be the biggest concern yesterday, right? Just with him not having that with the guys since the preseason. And at that time, it wasn't even with those guys. So, it's a trust factor with Chase. It's a comfort level that you have. We didn't change anything because he was in there. So that's again, I'll go back to that's why we brought him in, is for these type of situations where you feel comfortable knowing that if you get in this situation where he's got to play, you're able to just keep playing the way you play.
Does it help Mitchell to watch somebody else perform with the offense to help him going forward?
So I asked Mitch at the end of the game how he felt watching it from the sideline. His first words to me, yeah, it's different. You see different things, and you get it from our perspective as coaches. You get to see what we're talking about when we talk to you on the sideline. So as long as he steps on that sideline, he kind of gets to see what we're talking about, and then he uses that when he's back out there to understand that. That'll only help him.
And why did you go for 2 after the first touchdown, and what did you think of the execution of how that little?
Yeah, the ball just slipped. We had it. It was there. It was blocked. The wide receivers did a great job. It was gonna score. The ball slipped out of Chase's hands. So that's the first thing he said when he got to the sideline. And again, so that's something that we may do each week. We may pick and choose when we do it. If we feel like we like some plays or matchups that we have specifically, then we'll do it. You got to hit 2 out of every 3. If you hit 2 out of 4, you're good, right? You tie. You hit 2 out of 3, you're winning. And now you go 0 for 3, then you better think about something. So we were 0 for 1, and then you got to play the situation too. So the next time we got the touchdown, going for 2 and not getting it hurts you more than kicking the extra point and getting it, right? So that's kind of where you got to play the game as it goes based off of what the opponent does.
How special is what Eddie Jackson's doing? I think he's
Yeah.
had more defensive touchdowns than like 25 NFL teams in the last 2 years.
Yeah, no, he's playing on another level right now. He's very instinctual. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and I said yesterday I haven't been around too many guys or safeties and defensive backs that have the awareness and instincts that he has, and then he's got great ball skills. So. A lot of times we always joke, DBs are back there because they can't catch. Well, he doesn't fall into that category. This guy, could be playing some wide receiver.
Chase said you had a play lined up, but it was just on the wrong hash for Eddie?
Maybe. Chase might get fined for that.
In the second half, you really ratcheted up the pressure on Stafford. Was there a conscious decision, or how did you decide, let's start rushing 5 or more?
Well, I don't know I didn't get into that with Vic, but what I saw was, they were trying to get the ball out really quick. They had a plan for throwing quick game. They had a plan for throwing a bunch of screens. They were effective on 1 or 2, and then we played the screen game pretty well, other than those 1 or 2 plays. But we'll kind of pick and choose when you do that, because if you are going to throw the quick game because you're concerned about the rush, then you have, and you have players that can make plays on the back end and they anticipate, then you can strike with interceptions and that sort of thing for touchdowns. So that's what happens. So there's a balance there. But if that's the way that teams are going to go, then we understand that. But our guys just were doing whatever Coach Vic asked them to do on defense. They were flying around, and whether it was pressure or dropping guys, they executed. We had a few plays where there were some missed tackles. It was kind of sloppy, but some of that, I thought throughout the game you could kind of just feel it was a little different in regards to our team's energy. You could kind of feel our guys were a little bit tired, which is natural, and not on just everywhere, everybody in general. So all that said, I was really happy with the effort that we got, all things considered.
Matt, the way that Kyle Fuller is playing,
Yeah.
from a quarterback perspective, what does that do to opposing quarterbacks when they know that he's playing the way he is?
Yeah, that whole back end's playing really well together, and I think for those guys to have, they're playing with confidence right now. They're trusting their front seven to get to the quarterback, so they know that they can take chances if they need to, and then it fits into the scheme with what Vic's calling, and so sometimes maybe they're not bringing pressure and they have to be careful more of double moves or anything like that. But they're doing a good job, and ultimately when you look at those guys right now, everybody on our defense is playing with confidence.
The throwback to Chase, the pass that
Go ahead.
What were you thinking yesterday, getting Chase involved as a receiver, a couple design runs? You guys are already down to your second quarterback on the depth chart,
Yeah.
exposing him to some contact.
Yeah.
Field like that.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad because we have 4 on 2, so we should have got a lot more out of that play.
Throwback, you mean?
Yeah. No, on the to Chase. Yeah.
To Chase,
Yeah.
yeah.
They had 2 guys over there, and we have 4 offensive linemen, so that one should have went for about 40 instead of 8. But in any case, it didn't. And no, that's who we are. We don't. Again, we that's a play that we liked. We saw some things, and regardless of who the quarterback is, let's go.
Now, anytime Anthony wants a ball in a different place or something like that, you can say,
Yeah, he's 1 for 1 right now. So we judge those guys on those, and he's 1 for 1, and he did a good job in practice with it. And but the guys executed well. I just would have liked to get a little bit more out of it.
Can you give us any insight on Mitch, how he's feeling today versus yesterday versus the day before?
I have no idea how he's feeling today. Just seeing the guys on the plane last night, and we really didn't even talk at all about him. We were just all. I think everybody on that plane was just really taking in the enjoyment of what we just did. It felt good. So I'll talk to Andre, our trainer, and get a hold of Mitch and just find out how he's feeling. And we will be smart with it. And he's got to communicate to us how he feels, and then we'll do the same and figure out where it goes on a day-to-day basis.
For a guy who's never been hurt in the
Yeah.
NFL before, is that communication on his part, is that something you kind of had to pull out of him?
A little bit similar to Khalil. Another guy, his deal where, Khalil, we wanted to, we just, the day-to-day thing, just the communication, knowing, hey, how do you feel here? And sometimes protecting the player from the player is really what you run into.
How do you personally try and pull that information out of Mitch?
Well, it's not hard because we're honest, and he's got to be honest. I have to be honest with him. We work together with Andre and our doctors and find out exactly what do they think, where is he at, what's the and we play all different situations, and then so day to day, okay, where are you at? Is it give a number 1 out of 10 where you at, and does it change from day to day, and you communicate it.
When you look at the fact that you've won these 3 games in this short amount of time, what does it personally mean to you? And then looking forward, it's almost like you have a bye week, which is kind of
Yeah.
nice to cushion you in the back end of your schedule.
Yeah. No, well, the reason why it means a lot to me is because as we learn who we are, I challenged these guys that we had this 3-game division stretch in 12 days. And I was real curious to see how they were going to react to it and how they were going to respond, knowing everything. And everybody did their job. And so what's nice is you do have we have a little bit of a mini bye here. So get away, regroup, go back and get mentally strong again, go back and get physically strong, gives us some time. Coaches, go get away for a little bit and re-energize, recharge. This is the point of the season right now that's difficult because you've been doing it for so long. So I actually love how this is playing out. And now when they all get back and we all get back in here, the next challenge is going to be okay here now, and we'll create our own challenges, but we still have 5 games left, and however we decide to attack those 5 games, every one of them's huge.
To that point, to have this run in December, what can you take from your times in Kansas City where you guys have successfully navigated December to make the playoffs? What can you apply to this group?
Yeah.
Being out in front as a head coach?
Yeah, is the details of making sure that in practice, so our practice reps are going to kick back a little bit, and that's to save them physically. So the mental side of it, they got to really be strong at that. They got to understand that when they're watching tape, they got to study even more tape. When they get every single practice rep, they can't go 75%. They got to go 100% in practice. We as coaches need to make sure that we do our job of putting them in the best situation possible. We can't be complacent. We can't get to a point to where we just do things over and over where there's the same tendency. So we got to try to stay one step ahead, and taking care of these guys. Let them know that we care how they feel physically. Talk, and then you got to stay motivated. So, and that shouldn't be hard to do. So, fortunately for me, with the teams I've been on with Coach Reed, there might have only been 1 year where we weren't in a position really with 3 or 4 games left to get to the playoffs. So most of the time you're in a good spot, and but you got to stay. You got to do that whole deal one game at a time. And so when they get back here, the only thing that we'll be talking about is the New York Giants.
Matt, obviously you want to run the ball better.
Yeah.
Is too much being made of that? The only 3 games you've lost, you ran for over 130 yards.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, no, I don't think too much is being made of it. You have to be able to run the football, inevitably. You can't be one-dimensional. It's just like on defense. You got to be able to stop the run. So for me, running the ball is important. But I'm not going to just run the ball just to say and make people happy that we ran the ball. That's not what I do. So we're going to do whatever we think we do for the best matchup and whatever works for that week. If it's running the ball 50 times and that's the way we're going to win, I'll run the ball 50 times. If it's running the ball 5 times and that's how we're going to win, I'll run the ball 5 times. So, I think the biggest thing right now is you get into all this fantasy stuff that everybody's doing, and I think their emotions get a little bit tied up into that. But I just want to win games, and so that's all I really care about.
Matt, can you give us a film breakdown on the whole boom thing in the locker room?
I sit here and I always tell myself I'm not going to get into that stuff. That's for the players. But sometimes I just get a little bit excited, and I don't know. It just happened naturally. I don't even know. We just started. The guys were having fun, and then I joined them, and they kind of just wanted a couple more, and they liked it, and it just fit, and so that's what it was for yesterday. Yeah, well, football is fun, and the guys are having a good time. The biggest challenge that our team and everybody else, you got to understand, is that clock starts right away. So the second that play ends, that 40-second clock goes, and the person that puts the most stress on is the extra point team, or if you're going for 2, your offense. So the guys got to understand it's okay to have a little bit of fun, but you better have that thing timed down under whatever it is, 8 seconds, get that thing done, and then run off the field and don't walk off. So.
You gotta rehearse it better.
Huh? They're sneaking the rehearses on me. I had no idea they were going to do that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Matt.